I would like to say a few words, and Janice has been a great support for Malton Community Toastmasters. She is always there whenever we need her. And she even ran to our meeting in person when we opened just recently. And I love Janice so much for her passion to be a trainer, to be a leader, and make all of us better leaders and better Toastmasters. So when I requested Janice, can you do something for us? And she said yes. And despite her busy schedule, she managed to put up this presentation. So please give her a big round of applause, guys. She deserves it. Thank you very much, Janice.
Thank
Stage is all
you.
yours.
Thank you, Paul. Fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests, I want to thank you for attending today's presentation. I also want to acknowledge Paul Chima, who spearheaded this event. As you all know, this is contest season, and I hope my presentation will give you some inspiration to participate in the upcoming contest. My overview of today's presentation is for us to be as interactive as possible. So please, don't hesitate to raise your hands if further clarity is required. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Janice Gordon, and I am the Area Director for District 86. This role is new to me, so there are some learning curves. I oversee 4 clubs, 2 community clubs and 2 corporate clubs. I am also a member of 3 clubs, Brampton Alpha, Brampton Talks, and YSB, which is your small business Toastmaster in Atlanta. It takes confidence to speak in front of any audience. When I started speaking, let me confess to you, when I started speaking, I was nervous, sweaty palms, lots of knots in my stomach. What was even worse is my heart that kept throbbing like a race car. I kept questioning myself. How do I move forward and overcome this fear of public speaking? And to top it all, I am a bashful person. Most of you wouldn't believe that, but I am. Obstacles will always be there. Do not allow setbacks to set you back. Understand your mistakes and be clear-headed about it. Fear is real. It is terrifying, it is paralyzing, and it can also be energizing. I decided to move forward because going backwards was not an option. In other words, being yourself is being authentic. It is your storyline. I asked myself 3 questions. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? Public speaking is a teachable skill. Practice, practice, practice. Practice in front of a mirror. Tape yourself. It's a technique that you can all apply. As you all embark on your contest journey, feel the power of that moment. Take hold of it. Remember it. and own it. I am now going to transition into a PowerPoint presentation slide. Can you all see it? Can you see it, Paul?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yes.
can. Go into the presentation mode.
Awesome, great.
Press F5.
Okay. When your mind goes blank,
Go to slideshow,
where?
right by the magnifying on the lower right corner.
On your keyboard, just press F5, function key 5.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you, Hitesh. Thank you. When your mind goes blank, what comes to mind? Take a diaphragmatic breathing. Take control of yourself. Fuel confidence within yourself rather than fueling fear. Oxygenate and relax. Breathing helps. Refocus. Remember your purpose in speaking to the audience. You are here to give them a gift. And that gift is your experience. So refocusing is very important. Notes. Yes. At sometimes some of us use our cell phones, the notes. We have little sticky notes that we can write on. Pause. Find your place in your notes. Make eye contact, scan the audience to reconnect. And then calmly resume your presentation. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Rehearse in front of a camera. Tape yourself. Pay attention to where you have faltered and work on those areas that you need to emphasize and to build the confidence. So practice, practice, practice. Another crucial one is eye contact. This is critical. Eye contact is critical. You scan the audience, appear confident as you gather your thoughts. You can also make eye contact just with one person. For me, what I do, let's say for instance, Paul is in front of me or Hitesh, I look over Paul and it would appear as though I am looking at Paul or Hitesh. And that it gets me grounded and I'm able to stay focused. So each of us may have different techniques in terms of having eye contact, but it is important to scan the audience. Rehearsing. Now that we're not physically meeting, we need to anchor part of the virtual podium. So you have a beginning, which I will use the sandwich method, the beginning, then you have the middle, and then you have the end, which is the conclusion. So use the virtual podium and just anchor yourself. This will help you to internalize while giving your audience clarity. Another thing that I would use is signature phrase. always have a signature phrase. Yes, we can. I'm sure most of you know where that signature phrase came from. Yes, we can. From Obama. Another signature phrase that I use because I'm into the health and wellness. Health is wealth. Another signature phrase that I use, I have a dream. Most of you would know that's from Martin Luther King. Another signature phrase that I use, you can do it. So what I do in most of my speeches or presentations, I have a signature phrase. So I incorporate that signature phrase in whatever I'm about to say or do. Stumped. What does that remind you of? You forget your phrase, your trend of thoughts have dissipated. Pause, review your key points until you are able to get the flow going. If you're using PowerPoint, move forward to the next slide. Guess what? Because the audience wouldn't know. So even though you're like this, you're thinking, or what do I say? Just move along. The audience will not know. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Paul, if you caught yourself in a situation like this, what would you do? What would you share with the audience that we have here today?
When I am stumped,
Yeah.
I am many times.
Yes.
I try to breathe, like you said before. And I look around the audience. The audience is under the illusion that I'm just trying to gaze their attention while my mind is busy getting things in order. Then I start again. I have done that many times because I cannot read my script. This is a good or bad habit, I don't know, but I never look at my notes. That distracts me when I read. So often I forget, but I carry on my thought process after giving this illusion. Oh my God, I just let my secret out. So this is all the time that I do. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for sharing. Dolores, what would you do in a situation like this?
If I'm stumped,
Yes.
I ooh and ah and then pause and carry on.
Yes, and that's natural, and that is very natural. Yep, I totally agree. Or sometimes, yeah, what do I say next? And then the fingers are just going, you're shaking. Yes, and that is understandable. Archie, what would you do in a situation like this?
I normally rehearse what I need to say whenever I'm making any kind of a speech. And I have an order in which I've arranged, and I have it in my mind. Yes. Sometimes what I do, I would skip the order, and by the time I've jumped to the other section, I would remember the part I skipped. Yes. And I try to just to get that somehow smoothly back into my speech to get back on track. When I have a speech, I have headings on every paragraph. I have headings on the paragraphs. And once the heading pops into my mind, everything else flows. But sometimes I don't remember the headings. Yeah. So I go to the next heading.
That's right.
And then I try to come back to the previous heading.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't, but that's how I handle it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul, Archie, and Dolores for contributing. And the responses that I received today, that's exactly what I would do. You know, exactly what each of you have said. That is what I would sort of incorporate if I come into a situation where I stumble. Let me just share an example. I remember I participated in one of the area contests, and the lady before me had forgot her speech. And I thought I was the third one to go. And I says, please don't let me forget my speech. When I got in front of the podium, I was nervous because at the back of my head, what resonated with me was the lady who forgot her speech, and automatically I kind of get a blank mind, and then I had to compose myself by doing diaphragmatic breathing and gather my thoughts, and then I was able to continue. So diaphragmatic breathing really helps. I now have for you some tips for effective delivery. People who feel good about themselves produce good results. I have some tips, but before I go into some of the tips, Hitesh, what would you say as, or would you use as one of your tips for effective delivery?
One of my tips would be to minimalize filler words and try to make eye contact even when you're nervous.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Second person I would want to ask is Trin. Trin, what would you use as a tips for effective delivery?
Thank you, Janice. Hello, everyone. For me, it starts with a well-written speech because I found that when a speech is written in a way that is flow, one point after the next, a good transition that would allow me to remember my speech better. And I put sticky notes around the camera. That would help me not to use notes and also go from one point to the next one easier. That's what I'm trying to do, starting with writing, good flow, good transition, and the sticky notes. Back to you, Janice.
Thank you. Thank you, Trin. Nadia, what would you do in terms of tips for effective delivery?
Thank you, Janice. For myself, what I realized, first I need a good night's sleep. And I need to feel confident about what I look like, how I feel like. So I may put on my special bracelet or my power suit. And right away, that gives me the confidence.
Yes.
If I am stumped during the conversation, I tend to, or the speech, I tend to find someone in the audience who has a smile or a pleasant face. And I hold on to that, and then that just builds my confidence again, and I can move on. That's how I do it.
Great, thank you. Thank you all for the contribution, and that is what I would use as well. But I also made some notation. Know your material. Speak about the topic you are interested in and know a lot about it. Reinforce your message with facts, statistics, if possible. Another one, make it personal. Use humor, anecdotes, conversational language to make your speech engaging. Practice makes perfect. Rehearse your speech using any equipment or visual aid. Okay, what did I do? Time yourself. Time your speech every time you rehearse to ensure it does not go over that 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. Pace yourself. People tend to rush when they are nervous, so practice your speech at a calm and steady pace. Arrive early. Give yourself enough time to get acquainted with the stage presentation area. Be sure to test the audio, the microphone, and any visual aids that you would be using. Relax. Breathe and stretch before taking the stage. Pause for a few seconds, smile, and count to 3 before speaking. Have you noticed throughout my presentation, I spoke about diaphragmatic breathing? Breathing helps, it oxygenates blood right through your body, and then it calms you down. Visualize your success. Imagine yourself giving a speech. Your voice is loud, clear, and confident. Imagine hearing the audience applauding. Guess what? It will boost your confidence. Trust. Trust your audience. The audience isn't your enemy. They want you to be interesting, stimulating, informative, and entertaining. They are actually rooting for you. Now, I want to share with you a 6-point plan takeaway when you're preparing your speech. You want to know your why. Oh, sorry, it's be positive. Being positive, you can do it. Now, I'm going to share with you the 6-point plan takeaway. Remember, I said there are 3 things that motivated me. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? Know your why. We are wired to focus on what we have to lose than what we might gain. So you have to be crystal clear about what it is you want in the process. 2, confront your fears. When we shine a light on your fears and realize the actual cost of inaction, we loosen the grip fear as our psyche. Do you agree with that? Paul, do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trust your capabilities. Putting trust in ourselves will unleash our brilliance upon the world. Embracing uncertainty. There is a saying, stay with the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Because people are scared of getting into something and they don't know if it's going to work out. It can be getting a new job, marriage dysfunctional, home dysfunctional. There are a multitude of things where, fear of the unknown comes in. So embracing that with a positive mind will clear any confusion. Think big and start small. As Martin Luther said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Make short-term goals. Creep before you walk. Embody your inner bravery. You may have a lump in your throat, knots in your stomach, sweaty palms, all embodied. But we all have the capacity for greatness. Feel the power of that moment. Take hold of it. Remember it. Own it. It's your story. Own it. Be authentic. When you are authentic, everything flows. I want to thank you for sitting in and listening to my presentation. So now I will stop sharing my screen and then sort of engage in interactive dialogue. So if we can have Falmida, what would be your takeaway today?
My main takeaway would be to be authentic and to practice, practice, practice.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for the amazing the share of information.
Thank you, Falmida. Morna, what would be your takeaway today?
I am motivated by you to start doing public speaking.
Thank you. Thank you, Morna. Madan, what is your takeaway?
All those 6 points you mentioned at the end.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Tej. Am I pronouncing it right? Tej? Tej?
Yeah, you're pronouncing it right. Thank you for the question. My takeaways from today is the crowd is not your enemy. I think that's a good point because many people are afraid of what other people think of them.
Very good. Yep. Thank you very much for sharing that. Kamal, in terms of using notes,
Yes.
what else would you add to that?
In terms of
Using the notes.
Using the notes, actually, I would say it is a good idea to use the notes and keep the cue cards be ready on the side of your desktop before you delivering your speech, and having those like try to have only in one sentence, like do not write the whole sentence. Try to have the points which are going to help you to memorize the script which you already practiced. So having the cue cards on the side of your desktop is always a good idea.
Awesome. Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Eye contact. Shurija, why is eye contact critical? You've got to unmute, Shurija. Okay, I'm gonna move on to Isha. Isha, are you there? Okay. Why is eye contact critical? No, you've got to speak up.
Okay.
Isha Shinoy just signed up for our YLP.
Oh, so she's new.
She just joined, but she speaks very well. Yeah, well, I'm listening to, I'm waiting for her to speak up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. It's important to give eye contact so that the
Why is it critical to have eye contact? Okay, I'll come back to you, Isha. I'll go to Madan. Madan, why is it critical to have eye contact?
Well, that means you are talking to somebody. And when you're talking to somebody, you are telling yourself your story to that person.
That's right.
That's why it's very important.
Engaging.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Madan. Do you want to add to that, Hitesh Parmar?
Yes, I'd love to do that. Thank you. One of the things that I use for eye contact, and it's a tip I want to share with everyone on the audience here, is I use a little sticky face like this.
Yes.
The little dots are where the camera is and the microphone is.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm speaking, I'm actually looking at this face on the side of the camera. It always makes me appear like I'm talking to somebody and there's a physical person in this current day and age of, internet and online.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're only looking at a dot and you don't know whom you're looking at.
Yes.
The other thing is that your eye contact should be to the camera, not to the video of the person which is down on the screen, because now I'm looking at your face down there, but it doesn't make eye contact. You can figure out how I'm seeing down. But then if I look at my camera where the two eyes are, and this is when I'm speaking to you now, it's like everyone sees me like I'm speaking to them and I'm making the actual eye contact.
Yes, yes, good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Parmar. I like the one that you showed with the cards. So I think that is something, that's my takeaway from you.
Yeah, we can put two googly eyes as well next to the camera. So you're looking at that.
Awesome, awesome.
The other thing is using of humor. In case you get stumped,
yes,
I just take a segue to humor and maybe say, like now it's happening, and I would say senior moments are kicking in.
Yes.
There you go.
I like that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Away with it too.
Yeah. So signature phrases. I know we all have signature phrases. Dolores, what would be one of your signature phrase?
I can't think of anything right now, Janice. Sorry.
You can. Okay, no problem. No problem. The Val Nick. What would be your signature phrase? One of your signature phrase?
I also like Dolores. I cannot think of any signature phrase at the moment.
Can I say my signature phrase?
Sure, go ahead, Paul.
Okay.
Yes.
My signature phrase in current times, looking at US elections, is I can stall.
That's a good one. I can't stall.
You want to say that?
That's good.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear it.
I can't stall.
I can stall. Everything, like Trump has stalled the whole election.
Yeah.
I can stall will be my signature phrase going forward.
I have one. I have one that I own the ownership for it. It's like, et al. 2020. So in 2018, I gave a speech, and one of the lines I used there was, when you entertain the thought, you activate the launch sequence.
I like that.
And
Yes.
since then, that's become like a
Yes.
something that everyone when whoever hears that, they say, "Oh, that's the speech that Hitesh gave."
Yes.
Become like
Yes.
my signature.
I like that. I like that. Put it in the chat. So I can copy that. I wanted that to be my takeaway too. Yeah. I
I
like
have a question here from you, Janice, at this moment. I'm not sure if it's the right moment or you will give a chance to ask question later on. And the question is, when to use signature phrase? Beginning, middle, end.
I personally use my signature phrase in the sandwich method. The beginning, the middle, and the end. I incorporate it, but it's all preference and choices. You know, some people would like to use it towards the end, and that's the impact. Some people would like to start with it. And for me, in the middle, then it kind of get lost. So like I want to bring it out there, and towards execution, then I put it out there, the impact.
Okay.
Go ahead, Madan.
I have my saying, which I really like it. I read it in the book called Magic of Thinking book, big. And as the Paul asked when to say it, depending on the type of talk you're doing. It could be in the beginning, could be in the middle, could be at the end. But that's so simple. If it is to be, it is up to me. That's it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Madam. Thank you for that. What would be your signature phrase, Nadia? You're on mute.
My signature phrase, it's for my group and it's about change in my community. And my signature phrase is, change is a must. And that's my reminder. I have to keep saying, change is a must.
Change is a must, okay.
So my listeners will take that away and just keep
Yes.
remembering that we need to change something.
Awesome, great, great. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Archie, what would be your signature phrase?
Well, I have hundreds of signature phrases. I would actually tailor whatever phrase I have to the speech I am making.
That you're doing, yeah.
About 25 years ago, I used to write and critique speeches for 2 Toastmasters, although I wasn't one. I've never been one. But throughout life, I have the phrases that I use for myself as principles. One of the phrases I use is, a professional is someone who does the job even when he doesn't feel like it. Another one is, we can learn and educate ourselves from everyone else.
Yes.
We can even learn from fools.
Yes.
Because they may tell us or show us what we shouldn't do.
Yes. Yes. Very
So
good.
I have a lot of phrases that I use it throughout my life.
Awesome. Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you for parting some of those. I like that. The professional one and the other one. Yep. Excellent. Kieran, I know you just joined us.
Sorry, Janice, I was at my other club's meeting and I had to do this section. It just ended. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. It's better to be late than never. So I'm going to put you on the spot now. What would be your signature phrase, one of your signature phrase when you're doing any speeches?
Sorry, can you please repeat that question, Janice?
What would be one of your signature phrase when and if you're doing any speeches? Like, for example, my signature phrase is health is wealth. Do it. Yes, we can. But again, those signature phrases I use them depending on the speech that I'm presenting. So what would be yours?
Janice, I don't think I have one that I follow. It really depends on the context and what I am talking about. But the overall premise and my core value, based on which everything else layers, is that you can learn. Learning never stops. And there is no end point for us to reach. Once you learn one thing, then there will be a new end point or a new goal that comes out of this learning. So learning is ongoing, that begins at life and goes beyond death.
Awesome.
That is my core foundation and core value and core mindset.
Yes.
And then everything else comes over. And you can learn from anybody, anywhere, and anything.
Yes.
Because who we are is solely dependent on everybody else around us and everything else around us. Every experience will add to our learning, whether it is a positive or a negative experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that elaborate explanation. Thank you. So why don't I hear from Manny? Manny, what would be one of your...
Thank you, Janice. So for me, one of my signature phrases is, I wouldn't call it as a phrase, but that's like a philosophy that, or like a statement that I tell to myself. In life, you don't get affected because people can tell you several things that you're not great or you're not as good as they expect it to be, but you shouldn't be affected by it because you give them an opportunity to tell you and you get affected by it. You're giving the control over to them. So you are in control of your thoughts and your feelings and what the others say to you. So that's how I take life as it. So I make sure that I have control of what I get affected by. So it doesn't matter what others tell me or what I am or what I should be doing.
Nice, nice, good. Oh, I like that. Very positive. Very positive. Thank you for sharing that. Now I'm gonna go to Kamal.
Yes, Janice.
How would you, what's your takeaway with being positive?
Janice, actually the thing I learned, it's better to stay with the devil you know than the one you don't know. Because that is true. Giving a speech in front of audience is always fearful. And the other thing I would say, it is better to take risk and see where one stands rather than assuming that you cannot do it. So this is my takeaway from today's session.
Thank you, thank you. I like that, yes?
Thank you, Janice.
So Kamal, that tells me then that you were listening.
Yes, attentively. Even Janice, my son is also here sitting with me.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
Kamal,
Yes, Hanji Paul ji.
did you just call me devil?
As I said, it is better to work with the devil you know rather than working with the one you don't know. So you are indeed motivating me a lot, Paul ji, and pushing me also like a devil.
Nice, nice.
So actually, Janice, he's helping me to try he's helping me to bring the good out of me because he says, Kamal, I can see the potential in you. So what he can see, maybe I do not see in myself.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So he's
Awesome.
helping
Great.
me a lot. Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice.
Aditi, what's your takeaway with positive today?
I'm sorry, but I just joined this meeting because I had a different class today, so I was just here to listen. So I just
Okay, but you can share it whatever. Like if, for instance, if you're doing a speech, right? What would you take away as being positive? It doesn't matter whether you, any speech or any club that you have been in.
So being positive is really important if you're saying a speech or really doing anything, because you might have more self-confidence or more self-esteem of yourself to do more stuff more confidently and more better actually.
Thank you. Thank you, Aditi. Okay, I didn't hear from Segal. Segal, are you there?
Akash.
Yeah, I'm there.
Akash is our YLP student.
Okay.
Aditi was our YLP. Now she moved into the Gavel Club.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. So for rehearsing, what is important? What's your takeaway with rehearsing? Why is rehearsing that important?
I think rehearsing is important because if you don't rehearse your speech, then you might trip up with words and you might make a fool of yourself in front of the audiences.
You are so honest, and that is so true. You know, if you don't rehearse and you forget, and it would be so embarrassing. There I am presenting and can't even remember. Hence the reason why I show the clip stump. When you stump, what do? Exactly. I want to thank everyone who participated today in today's presentation and workshop. So I'm hoping with the presentation that I've shared with you, inspire you to go ahead and embark on the contest journey. I also want to thank Paul Chima for giving me this opportunity where I can present this workshop. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Janice. That was very informative and engaging workshop, actually. I would like to add a couple things to this. I know that were not the part of it, but I think when we are talking about virtual meetings now, there are a couple basic things that we must be aware of, such as Hitesh has a very valid point. And Hitesh, I love the way you put that sticky up and it has smiley face and you are actually looking into something like I'm looking into vacuum here, nothing around me, but I will follow your suggestion.
Yes.
Looking into the camera,
Very,
really critical, very critical. So we have to get over the temptation to look at the screen when you are speaking. This is how people will see you. When I was child, I would always wonder, looking at the picture of Guru Nanak Dev, our Sikh Guru, and if I go to the left, I would see him looking at me. If I go to the right, I would see him looking at me. If I'm straight, I would say, what's going on? Because we are looking at the eye level. So picture will seem to look at you whichever way you go to, the kind of optical illusion. This is one thing. And the second thing I would say that keep movement to the minimum. Do not move around your laptop or your camera and be walking because that becomes distracting. And I'm happy to see none of us did that. And then munching on something. I know we get hungry, we have liberty to eat, but when you are munching, these microphones, guys, they are way more sensitive than you can imagine. They grab your crunch, and if your speaker is my microphone is not muted, I can hear you munching. And now I'm hungry too, and I will deviate from a speech, will be stumped, right? Couple things, raise hand if you have to ask question and mute unless you need to speak. So I think this will help us be better and better in delivering a very effective speech here. So before we go away from this meeting, I would like every one of us introduce themselves in 15 to 20 seconds so we have it on the recording and we know who was here. So I'm going to turn over the view to a gallery view so I can see everyone here. So should I start taking names so then you can introduce yourself quickly, your name, your parent club, and your any takeaway from this session? I know Janice covered a lot, but still you can still add something. So I'm coming to Famida Sayed.
Hi there. I'm from City Center Toastmasters in Mississauga. It's been a pleasure to be here. There have been so many takeaways. I just wanted to add my signature phrase, which is, there is always another way. And one tip that I like to mention is that when you are speaking, so that you can have eye contact, you might want to put your screen on gallery view as opposed to just the speaker view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Famida. And Kamal Bola, please.
Yes. Hi, I'm Kamal Bhola and I'm from Malton Community Malton Toastmasters Club. And I'm with them for the last 1 year. And I would say Paul G indeed and mother and uncle, they all helped me a lot to overcome my hesitation. And that is the reason I'm here and speaking in front of you all. So the thing I would say, the public speaking actually, it is a limitation of our own mind, nothing else. And that is why it is said, practice, practice, and practice. And the more we will actually overcome our hesitation, the more the more we will become perfect, and it will help us to overcome our limitations also. Thank you very much. Back to Paul Gina.
Thank you very much, Kamal. And Nadia Chambers.
Thank you, Paul. My name is Nadia Chambers. I'm from Brampton Alpha. I'm a new member to Brampton Alpha, as a matter of fact. And from this session here today, I learned a lot. There's a lot of takeaways. And one thing I'd like to add is to fall forward. So unless you try to give that speech, you will never know what you're capable of doing. So if you're going to fall, better to fall forward than to fall backwards. Thank you.
Very right. Very right. Thank you very much, Nadia. Archie, I don't remember the second partner's name, but I only see Archie. So please introduce yourself.
I'm Archie Wharton. I do not belong to any Toastmasters club, although I have a lot of friends who are. But I'm a seeker of knowledge. I like knowledge. I like to learn something new every single day. And today I learned a lot. It was a really powerful workshop. I welcome it. I like it. And keep up the good work, everyone. All the best to you all in your endeavors as Toastmasters.
Thank you very much, Archie. And your partner here?
Oh, I would like to join a Toastmasters. I want to be a Toastmaster because I'm very nervous. I'm all of the wrong above. So like what Ms. Chambers said, you never know what you can do until you do it. So I'm glad that Janice sent me Janice sent me the information that I could have joined this morning, and now I know what you guys do, and I'm very interested in it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And we learn by doing. This is the bottom line of Toastmasters. So
Right.
coming next to Hitesh Parmar, I have heard this name, and I know it's a very reputed name taken with a lot of affection and respect. So Hitesh, please.
Thank you, Paul Chima. I think I'd like to know what drink you're having. My name is Hitesh Parmar, and I come from Markham Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for 10 years now, and I'm the area director for 22. Just to shed some light to Archie and team and our really brand new members or guests, I was once a guest just like you in a meeting exactly like this, face to face, seated, and Toastmasters is the only place that pushes you to out of your comfort zone. It pushes you into your uncomfortable zone, and that's where you learn. That's where it's like your flight simulator. So taking off is mandatory. After that, landing is optional. If I'd known of Toastmasters a lot earlier, I would have joined it even more earlier, but it just happens when it happens. So enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Very right. You very aptly said, Hitesh. So now coming over to someone who is very busy looking at the desk, Mr. Madan Chauhan.
Thank you very much, Paul. I was just making notes. Just the last one picked up by Sesh. Taking off is mandatory and landing is optional. So starting is mandatory, ending is optional. And I'm a student of life for the life. Thank you.
Kiran Patula.
Thank you, Paul. My parent club, Malton Community Toastmasters Club, which now is Malton Toastmasters Club. That's my first club. I'm now also a member of My Speak Toastmasters Club. I have been a Toastmaster for 3.5 years, and the learning is phenomenal. No matter what happens in life, I can think of quitting other things, but Toastmasters is never on a list of things to negotiate or quit. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Kiran. Really appreciate that thought. Thanks. Yuvraj Mani.
Thank you, Paul. Hi, everyone. I'm from Tangri Toastmasters. Uh, it's been like a life-changing journey. Like it was like I've not been part of Toastmasters for a pretty long time. It's just early part of this year is from when I started looking out for Toastmasters Club, wherein I think within my current job profile, I was wanting to have presentations. I have to be presenting the product that I'm been like working on and stuff like that. So which made me essential that I need to improve on my communication skills. That's when I was able to find a club near to my place and found out Tangri Toastmasters. It's been a great journey. We have great mentors within our club. Even Paul's been there within our club as well. So it's been great learning from all senior members within our club. And one of the key takeaways that I've taken from this particular meeting is trying to be authentic. So when you're presenting your speech being very authentic, you don't have to fear of like, you're not making up stuff. So you know what it is and it's real. So you don't have to be fearful of like losing your thoughts and stuff like that. So always make sure whatever you're presenting, it's authentic, then like primal, then I don't think you might lose out on thoughts, but then you can recap, bring in the thoughts back again. So that's one more key stuff, trying to be authentic. And another thing is, having seen you all, what I learned today is no matter how big, how experienced like speech you evaluate, like how much, how like you can be like a great narrative guys, but then everyone goes through the same phase of like having like butterflies in their stomach, and everyone has gone through it. And even like at whatever stage you're in your current level of giving speeches, you still go through that anxiety and like a small bit of like apprehension of what's going to happen. So it's okay to be like nervous, so accept it and live with it, and you would have to keep pushing yourself, and someday I'm sure will be all great speakers like all you guys are today. So thanks everyone.
Thank you very much. We all have butterflies in our stomach. Janice had it before the presentation. So she didn't let you guys see it.
Yeah.
She did a great job presenting this workshop. So Tej Shah, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Tej. I'm 11 years old, and I'm a VP of Education for the Stand Proud Gavel Club group. I've learned a lot from Toastmasters, and it has made me become so much of a better public speaker. Now, whenever I go in front of a crowd, I'm not worried or scared to speak, as I've been taught many good skills. And I'm very happy for the club I am right now, as my teachers work very hard. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Tej. That is encouraging for all of us to keep doing it, what we're doing. Dhawal.
Wow. I really need to learn from Tej how better. He is at 11. I remember myself when I was 11. I had like, as Janice mentioned, she had nuts. I had butterflies who were eating nuts. So yeah, I come from Tungri Toastmasters, and I learned a lot today. And for my takeaway, or for my go-to phrase, is I think I have borrowed it. And when Janice, when you asked, I was a little bit stumped. But my go-to would be "just do it." I borrowed it from Nike. The brand says "just do it."
Yes.
So that's what I try to work on it. So if I just do it, then things happen, and you learn from it, and the whole process starts from there. So that's my go-to.
Thank you very much.
Actually, excuse me. Actually, I wanted to file a lawsuit because Nike stole that phrase from the Canadian Participation. That was not originally a nice phrase. It was a Canadian phrase.
Oh.
Participation, just do it.
Okay.
And then Nike stole it, like they always do. Canadian phrase. Tell them I said participation, just do it. That's 40 years ago.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you very much, Archie.
Wow, thank you.
Coming next to Hitansh. Hitansh, would you like to introduce yourself and your takeaway today?
Hello, my name is Hitansh. I live in Oakville and I go to Captain R. Wilson School. I'm really proud to be part of this club. And that's all.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Hitansh. Isha Shiva.
Hello, my name is Isha. I live in Stouffville. I'm 13 years old and from the Youth Leadership Program. I'm new to the Toastmasters program, as I only joined this year. I learned many things from this lesson, such as not to be afraid of the audience and to practice. Thank you.
Very nice. And Ekansh.
My name is Ikan Saibo. I'm 11 years old. I study in grade 6. My school that I go to is Dyson Avenue Senior Public School. I'm a part of the Malton Community Toastmasters Club. And my takeaway from this lesson was that we have to keep eye contact with the audience.
And Ekansh is our secretary for Akal YLP. And Isha is our sergeant at arms. So there was election yesterday and they were fabulous. So now coming back to our last member here, Aditi Senapati.
Hi, my name is Aditi Senapati. I am part of the Malton Toastmasters Club. I have recently started my classes and I've been learning a lot from it. I am a candidate for the VP of membership in my class. And my takeaway from my past lessons, I've also been doing Toastmasters in Mississauga too, is that I have to look at the audience. I shouldn't be afraid to speak. And also I should express myself a lot. And I'll keep on be learning, and I will always be learning more and more about how to make my speeches better. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Aditi. And that was fabulous. I'm so overwhelmed with all this knowledge and your love, and being here means a lot. And I have a short announcement to make, and we still haven't decided on a time or date, but very soon our Kiran Pochula, she does great evaluations, guys. And she's going to run a workshop on how to be a better evaluator. So I will keep you informed as and when we finalize the time. So please leave your information. I posted my message in the chat. You can send an email to Malton Toastmasters at gmail.com, or you can text it directly to me. Your name, your contact phone number, and email, and the best way to contact via email or via phone. So we'll love to share as much as we can and learn from all of you. Today's meeting was very engaging. Anyone has anything to say? The podium is open for all of you.
My concluding thoughts, I want to thank again everyone for coming out. Saturday is a hectic day. One of my signature phrase that I forgot to mention is knowledge is power. So the motto in my home, it's always knowledge is power. If you have knowledge, no one can walk over you. And I want to thank you, and I would be leaving now. And thanks again.
But before you leave, I'll tell you the phrase these days is be negative, not be positive.
A double negative always changes to a positive.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So if you have any negativity in you and people are asking you to be negative, that's a double negative. You will end up being positive.
Yeah, so if
That's right, yes.
if a person is negative and he gets COVID negatives, that it becomes positive. Thank you very much, guys. I'm so happy that you are.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Janice. You did a wonderful workshop.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. The workshop was
Bye.
very
Bye.
knowledgeable.
Bye. Thank you.
Kiran,
Well, I will need the recording because I missed pretty much everything.
let me stop the recording here. Then we can, like you say, it is a parking lot talk. How do I stop recording here?
Yeah.